Recruiting. I want to make this video to talk about agent attraction. You know, it's a very confusing thing when you've not been a recruiter before in the past, how to recruit. And so I've had a couple conversations over the last couple of days with some agents in the organization, and I wanted to make the video just so we could kind of solidify this whole process of recruiting, because it can get very, very confusing as far as how to do it, what to do, when to do it. I want you to know this, number one. First of all, recruiting has nothing to do with you, and it has nothing to do with EXP. You're like, what the heck? What the heck is he talking about? Has nothing to do with me, it has nothing to do with EXP. Has nothing to do with either of those, even though that's what you think. You think that somebody is going to join or not join because of you or because of EXP. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It actually is all about timing. It's all about their timing. And so here's the crazy part. First of all, that should relieve you from any stress about, is my presentation proper? Did I follow the script? Did I do it correctly? You can take all of that away from yourself and just get rid of that. Get rid of that out of you, and just know this, it's about the timing of the person, where they're at in their life as far as whether or not they will come and they will partner with EXP. Is EXP the right fit at the right time for them? And you don't get to determine that, okay? So take that off your plate. You don't have to worry about that. Know that it is timing. All right, I beat that into the ground. Next thing I want you to know is this. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. And also conversely, you cannot say the right thing to the wrong person. There is no such thing as the perfect presentation or the perfect webinar or the perfect peaking script. There's no such thing. It's all about the right person who's in a position to actually hear what you're saying and is ready in their life for a change. Okay, great. So we've got that figured out. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with EXP. So now what do you do to attract agents? Well, the number one thing that's going to attract them is the relationship that they have with you. Because here's the thing. Once they see the information, they can't unsee it. And if the timing's right for them, they're going to come on board. In fact, you wouldn't be able to stop them from coming on board. You could put a gun to their head and say, I am not allowing you to join, and they would still find a way to join, okay? So just know that. So here's what I'm talking about. Number one thing you need to do is you need to have a list of the people that you're going to talk to, and not just a list on a sheet of paper, some type of list in a binder, something that you're going to keep for the rest of your real estate career. And you need to put down every agent that you know. Well, which agents should you write down? Every agent you know. And this is going to be a living and breathing document. You're literally going to be adding to it as you go. But here's what I know. If you haven't recruited anybody, I'll bet you right now, if I came to you and said, let me see your list, I can guarantee you this, you don't have one, okay? Make a list. If they're in your phone, put them on the list. If you ever do a deal with them or hear from on out in the future, you do a deal with them, put them on the list. If you meet them at a networking meeting, which is a great place, by the way, to talk to agents about EXP, networking meeting. If you go to realtor meetings, if you're not going and you want to recruit, I recommend going to at least one a week. Go there and start meeting agents and building the relationship, okay? So the list, if they're on your Facebook page, they go on the list. But I don't have their phone number. Doesn't matter, they go on the list. If they're on your LinkedIn and they're a realtor, they go on your list. If they're on your Twitter or Instagram, they go on the list, okay? That's the number one thing you have to do. That is the homework. That is the, I guess you would call the hard part of it, but it's your inventory of whether or not of the people you're going to talk to. And when you make the list, don't just make it single spaced. You're going to want to leave spaces in between the list, because you're going to take notes. Here's what you know. Rob Campbell taught me this, that some of the best agents you're going to recruit are literally going to take years before they join you. I hope you caught that. It's going to take some of them years before they join you. The sun's beautiful out today, by the way, but it's not helping much with my video. Oh well, you don't want to see my mug anyhow. So the list. No list, no recruits. Just know that. Small list, small number of recruits. Huge list, you'll get a huge number of recruits. Okay, what's the next thing we do? We take the list and we literally start knocking people off the list. We need to approach every single person. It's a very simple approach. Number one, if you haven't talked to them in years, you need to start the conversation. Let's say it's a Facebook friend you went to high school with 15 years ago. You're Facebook friends, but you haven't really talked, right? And they're in real estate. If you just come and hit them right out of the blue, hey, have you heard of EXP? Join my team. They are going to run the other way. And they're going to run fast and they're going to avoid you. It is very weird, very awkward. Don't do that. You got to start and build the relationship. And this may take some time. How do you build a relationship? Compliment people on what's going on in their life. Look, especially if they're on social media, you know they just took a vacation to Disney with their kids. Compliment it on, like their pictures. Start a conversation that you can take to a private message. And eventually we want to get to a phone call, but to a private message. But build the relationship first. A lot of you know John Herhold recruited me cold out of, Stacy and I, cold out of Chicago. He's in Chicago, we're in Columbus. How did he do that? Well, if you go back to our LinkedIn trail, a year in advance, he started building the relationship and started talking about all kinds of things, not just real estate. We talked about when the Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks were playing. Those are hockey teams, for those of you who don't know. We talked about the Indians and the White Sox playing. It's a baseball team. Of course, we commiserated over football back that year. The Browns went 2 years of losses and only one win. So he really felt bad for me, and I felt a bond to him. And then we talked some real estate. A great way for you to approach the real estate thing with your friends is simply to ask them, it looks like you're killing it out there. I've been watching you on social media. You must be absolutely blowing it up. Congratulations on all your success. How's it going? And let them talk. The key to recruiting is this, or attraction. If you don't like the word recruiting, use attraction. By the way, don't college students want to be recruited? Don't you, when you're in the corporate world, you want to be recruited? I mean, it's kind of flattering to be recruited. It's not a bad thing. It means people want you. So stop looking at it as a negative thing and look at it more of a compliment. If somebody's chasing you, that's a good thing. I mean, how many people, call you up and offer you an opportunity every single day? Not that often. But anyways, I digress. Agent attraction, right? We want to attract agents to the business. Well, first of all, we already said you got to start building the relationship before, especially if you haven't talked to them in a while, before getting into the question about how's real estate going. But recruiting and attraction is about questions. Here's what you think it is. You think it's about presentations. It's not about presentations. It's not about talking to. It's about listening to your people. You have to have a list of questions that you're going to ask that are thought-provoking, that get them to talk, that get them to spill their guts. A lot of times when you just say, hey, how's real estate going? Some people will come right out and say, man, it sucks. There's not enough inventory. There's too many agents. Houses are selling really quick, but there's so many agents, there's not enough transactions to go around, right? Those people are giving you their pain points. They're telling you how to recruit them. They're literally giving you a blueprint. Here's a great question. What do you think is going to happen with the real estate market? When do you think the next crash is? See, that question gets people thinking. It gets people thinking because what you want to hear is you want to hear their pain points. Do they have a retirement, right? Do they have a retirement plan? Another great question is, what's your exit strategy to get out of real estate? This is especially good for people who've been doing it like us for 20 years. What's your exit strategy? How are you going to get out? When do you plan on getting out? Questions like that, right? Here's other great questions that you can ask them. Hey, I got a quick question for you, if you don't mind. It's a personal business question, but what's your broker split like? Get them talking about their broker split. We know EXP, right, has the best broker split in the industry. If you're a producer with the Icon Agent Program, you can literally sit there and operate at over 100% commission. That's incredible, right? So you want to ask them that question. Here's another couple great questions. Hey, did you hear the other day that the number one Keller Williams agent in the world switched to a new brokerage? Did you hear that? Did you also hear that the former number one RE/MAX broker in the world switched to a new brokerage? Did you hear about that? And you can use examples of top agents in the field. Ask them if they heard about these people switching brokerages. Ask them that and find out. Here's what you'll find out. They probably haven't heard of it. And you can say, yeah, they switched to a company called EXP. And when I saw these huge mega agents and giant brokers switching over, I mean, they're the top of the top. When I saw them switching over to this company, I had to take a look at it. Have you heard of it? Would you like to get some information on it? I'd love to introduce you to the guy who actually showed it to me, and makes a lot of sense. Super successful in real estate, and I'd love to give you a chance to talk to him on the phone, get some information. Now, some people are going to say, you know what? I'm good where I'm at. In fact, a lot are going to say, I'm good where I'm at. I'm not interested in switching brokers. Here's how I want you to answer that. Oh, I'm not asking you to switch brokers. I was just asking you, do you want the information? Now, you see how that works? Why would that be good? Because when you take that away from people, I'm not asking you to switch brokers. I'm just asking you, do you want the information? It takes away that initial response. There's a thing called ARF. Caution. ARF. It stands for alarm, resistance, and fatigue. And here's what it means. When you, as a human being, hear something new for the first time, immediately alarm bells go off in your head. And you shut down. You say no, because you're scared. Something different, something happening. Change is occurring. Human beings fear change more than anything else in the world, right? So that's alarm. But what will happen is after those alarm, that fight or flight response goes off, you'll go through a period of resistance where you start being more open, but you're still kind of shut down. And then you'll go to a thing called fatigue. Alarm, resistance, fatigue. It's a system that the human body goes through when presented with drastic change. And trust me, folks, switching a brokerage is a drastic change. Alarm, resistance, fatigue. The fatigue part is where they start to finally wear down. Their body will go through almost a biochemical response, almost like being sick, being ill, the flu almost. And you'll get a chance then to reapproach them if you properly follow the system where you've been building the relationship, and you present them with something and then give them a chance to calm down and also allow them a way out. Oh, I'm not asking you to switch brokers. I'm just asking you, do you want the information? Some people are going to say, you know what? I'm good where I'm at. Awesome, man. Love it. Keep crushing it. You're doing great. Always end the call with love. You're doing great. I love following you on social media. Can we catch up here in the future and just talk? Maybe trade some insider secrets and things like that. I'd love to stay in touch with you. They're almost always going to say yes to that. Almost always, right? And you can do that. And then the next time you talk to them, make sure you don't talk about EXP. You're going to need to deposit some more into the relationship. Build the relationship. It's a long-term thing. People, you're not going to approach somebody and just say, hey, have you heard of EXP? And they're like, no, oh my gosh, I've been looking for somebody to join with. I'm in, right? That's not going to happen. So you have to understand it's about their timing. So here it is. You need to make a list. Number 2, you need to start the conversation about real estate. And by building the relationship first, if you haven't talked to them in a while, build the relationship first. Compliment them on their kids, on their dog. You got to build the relationship. You have to deposit into the relationship account before you can make a withdrawal. And asking somebody to switch brokers or look at your broker opportunity is a withdrawal. It's a withdrawal from the relationship. They're at where they at. Human beings have a big ego. They think already that they have the best deal. And you come bringing them something saying you have a better deal, their ego doesn't allow them to accept that right away. because they think they're the smartest, they think they've already figured it out, and they think they shopped around and have the best broker, or they wouldn't be there. It's very rare you're just going to find somebody say, oh my gosh, I've been looking for something different. That's not going to happen very often, okay? So, make the list, build the relationship, start the real estate conversation through a series of questions. From there, you want to get them on the phone with one of the people who's good at recruiting. Here's what you don't want to do. Don't pitch the business yourself. Now, why? Because your friend who knows you and knows you just switched to a new broker probably doesn't view you as the source of being an expert on it. You want to introduce them to an expert. They know you just switched in the last 6 months, year, or whatever it is. Introduce them to the expert, or as we would call it, your upline in an EXP. And that way you stay on the friend level, depositing into the relationship part, and you can introduce them to somebody that will show them the information. Now, if they don't want to talk to somebody on the phone, which is understandable, sometimes people are afraid, how about a video? How about a webinar? Right? Things that are non-committal that they can check out. And it's a piece by piece process, moving them down the path to where they can make a decision based on their timing, whether or not it's right for them. Now, where's another good source of realtors? Obviously, you're going to make your own list. Anybody you give business to, your title company, your lender, your home inspector, right? Any of those people that you give deals to, they need to have their eyes and ears open for disgruntled agents. That's right. Agents will complain about their brokers to lenders, to home inspectors, and to title people, right? And when they do that, if you have the person you're giving business to keep their eyes and ears open, maybe they can make a connection for you. That's another good source that we've been using, and it's actually been working really well. So that's the video on recruiting or on agent attraction. It's a series of steps that we take them through. Ultimately, you're trying to get them on the phone with the person who's going to be doing the presentation, who will then try to set up a coffee meeting, who will then try to take them out and build the relationship a little bit. Maybe it's dinner or something like that, to give them all the information they need to make a decision that fits their timing that's right for them. So hopefully this video was helpful. It got stopped somewhere in the middle, so I'm going to have to splice it together. But I'll see you all soon. If you have questions on it, or you're unsure but you have a list, sit down with your sponsor who got you started, and sit down with them with your list and go through the list and start peeking some people and starting the conversation, and have them there by your side in case people start hitting you with questions that you can't answer. Okay? Talk to you soon.